Week 4 of Dana White's Contender Series turned into one of the most violent and memorable episodes of the season. 10 fighters entered the UFC apex with dreams of securing a contract, but what unfolded was far more brutal than anyone expected. The highlight came from the battle between Tommy McMillan, a teammate of Shauna Ali, and David McGoyan. Their 3-round war had Dana White and the UFC matchmakers locked in, setting the tone for the night. McMillan, despite absorbing enormous punishment, managed to pull off a hard-fought decision win. Dana was so impressed with the grit on display that he not only gave McMillan a contract, but also rewarded both men with their win money.
It is fucking crazy how nasty this fight was. His head was spun around the other way. I don't know if I've ever, other than Rose Namajunas getting dropped in her head and maybe a couple other times where somebody looks like they're getting spiked and, you know, on their head and, you know, in a scramble in wrestling. I thought somebody's head was gonna fucking pop off like this kid tonight. He didn't tap. Unbelievable.
Colby Covington may not have added wins to his UFC record lately, but he's certainly staying active in the spotlight by finding new ways to remind everyone just how dangerous he is. During a recent live stream, Covington faced off against yet another internet personality who thought it would be fun to spar with him. But things took a sharp turn when Colby landed a clean body shot that instantly folded the influencer, causing him to vomit on camera.
Oh! 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 Oh!
What, baby? You can't come to my arena and expect to do good against me? Come on. There's levels to this shit. There's the top level and then there's Colby's level.
The clip quickly spread, reinforcing the idea that no matter what people say about his inactivity, Colby Covington still has fight-ending power at his disposal. Colby Covington also weighed in on the long-awaited win for Tony Ferguson over the weekend. After more than 6 years without a victory, Ferguson finally broke the streak, even if it came against an influencer with no real combat sports background. Colby, who has a history of back and forths with Tony, held back from his usual trash talk and instead gave El Cucuy credit for the accomplishment. However, he didn't shy away from sharing his true feelings, saying this should be the perfect moment for Ferguson to retire.
I think we're friends. I don't know, it went so many different ways. We were friends, we were enemies, we were friends, and then we were enemies again. It was just, but Team USA, brother, you know, happy for him. Super congratulations to Tony for actually winning a fight. You know, even though it was against some influencer that has no combat sports experience, a win's a win. My advice to Tony is, you know, quit while you're ahead and ride off in the sunset. Go enjoy time with your family, brother. If you get back in there again, you're gonna get hurt. And no one wants to see you get hurt, Tony, because we like you. No more hits to the head, and no reason to give Ducklip Gagey a run for his money for King of CTE.
For Colby, this wasn't about insults, but rather an honest assessment that Ferguson had one last moment of victory, and he should protect it, rather than push his luck. Michael Bisping, a man known for never holding back, surprised many with his comments about Dillon Danis. After Danis secured a 15-second submission win over Warren Spencer at Misfits Boxing 22, Bisping gave him genuine praise during an episode of the Believe You Me podcast. Despite the years of insults traded between them, Bisping admitted the performance was impressive.
Because I was going to go in order. We were going to talk about Tony Ferguson, but we're talking about Dillon. He DM'd me a while ago, giving me shit. And I just wanted to remind myself what he said. So I looked at it. He's got 6 million Instagram followers, right? I don't know if he's bought a ton of those or what, but he's got a healthy following. And the question that I'm going to ask is, because I don't know if you saw it, Paul, but he tapped his opponent out in 15 seconds.
I saw.
Which, regardless, whatever you want to say about him or whatever, it was impressive. I mean, the guy made a stupid mistake being a boxer and then like kind of dipping his head and kind of half shooting. Of course, Dillon's going to wrap it up. But even still, very, very high level skill. The question that I'm going to ask you, Paul, is, because this is what he's pushing for, do we want to see Dillon Danis in the UFC? I'll say, I kind of do.
I don't.
Ben Askren's story continues to inspire as he makes remarkable progress after facing one of the toughest battles of his life. Following a severe case of pneumonia and a dangerous staph infection, Askren required a double lung transplant that left him struggling to even walk or speak. The former fighter, known for his grit inside the cage, was left fighting just to survive. But in a powerful new video shared by his wife Amy, Askren can be seen jogging, a sight few would have believed possible just months ago.
Look at you, let's go, son.
Askren's road to recovery is far from over, but his determination to keep pushing forward continues to inspire those who know his story. Alexander Volkanovski may be waiting for his next fight, but that hasn't stopped him from having some fun at the expense of one of his biggest fans. Recently, Volkanovski teamed up with the crew from the Unscripted show to prank their video editor, Ben, who happens to be a die-hard Volk supporter. The setup was simple. Ben was given the chance to grapple with his idol, something he'd always dreamed of. But midway through the session, Volkanovski pretended to suffer a serious neck injury, collapsing in pain.
Come on, man. What's up, man?
Just the neck. Oh, sorry. Nah, that's not your fault. I just got a cortisone in it.
You got ice? Jordan, can you move, bro?
Nah, it's my fault. I was shooting. I shouldn't have done that. Are you sure?
Boy, Josh, call his manager.
Folks injured his neck. What do you want us to do?
The nerve down the arm.
Folks, can you come speak to him for a second?
He was so calm, bro. He was so calm.
The drama between Rampage Jackson and MMA Guru reached a boiling point after Guru referenced Rampage's infamous 2008 incident during a live stream. Guru read out an article alleging that Jackson was involved in a hit-and-run that injured a pregnant woman, a claim Rampage has long distanced himself from. Rampage reacted furiously, saying Guru crossed the line and accusing him of defamation. He even suggested that legal action might be on the horizon, implying that Guru's comments left him open to a lawsuit. Guru, however, wasn't intimidated. Instead, he fired back on social media, mocking Rampage for threatening lawsuits instead of handling things in the cage. Guru expressed disappointment, saying he expected Rampage to challenge him to a fight rather than resort to legal threats, ultimately calling him a coward. Ariel Helwani also weighed in on the ongoing Raja Jackson controversy, providing his perspective on the chaotic events. Helwani revealed that Rampage had actually invited him to join a stream on the very night Raja's actions caused widespread backlash at a wrestling event. Fortunately for Helwani, he was vacationing in Italy and declined, later admitting he was relieved not to have been involved.
And he was in New York and wanted to meet up, and I was like, ah, man, you know, it would have been fun. We could have done something, but I'm in Italy. I'm sorry. Thank God I was not there because, I mean, thank God is maybe a little bit strong, but it was that night that the whole thing with his son at this pro wrestling event happened. And then, of course, there he is on his stream reacting to it all. There's an alternate universe where I'm sitting next to him as he's reacting to all of this. And Lord knows I did not want to be a part of any of that.
Reflecting on the situation, Helwani described the whole ordeal as a storm of stupidity, saying every single person involved shares some level of blame. Still, he placed Raja at the top of the list, criticizing his behavior as reckless and irresponsible.
I watched a little bit of it, and then I said, I'm not going to get into this. And then I watched all of it over the past 48 or so hours, all the footage, all the reaction, listened to everyone, an absolute shitstorm of stupidity. I mean, just even calling it a shitstorm of stupidity is being kind. And it starts with Raja himself. What he did and the way he acted was absolutely insane. He deserves anything that is going to come his way, and as of now, it's nothing. As of now, he hasn't been charged, he hasn't been arrested, he hasn't been anything. And I don't know if he's going to be, and far be it for me to sit here and be like, that was first degree this. And I've seen people weigh in on like what it is. I'm no fucking lawyer, I'm no fucking officer. What I know is that it was absolutely stupid what he did. But it doesn't just start and end there. Everyone involved was involved in this shitstorm of stupidity. And every single person has some sort of level of blame. He's at the very, very top.
Jon Jones once again avoided legal trouble after prosecutors dismissed charges related to a February hit-and-run incident in Albuquerque. Jones had been accused of fleeing the scene of a car accident and of using a telephone to intimidate or harass someone. However, the district attorney's office reviewed his alibi defense and determined it was credible. Jones then released a statement thanking the DA for carefully reviewing the facts and claiming he was never there that night. He expressed frustration at what he described as a rush to judgment, saying the allegations robbed him of the spotlight during his retirement announcement. Jones also accused the individual who reported him of making false accusations to cover up their own wrongdoing. While he acknowledged his troubled past, he emphasized the importance of truth and fairness, saying the evidence ultimately cleared him completely. Despite Jones's relief, fans were not convinced by the dismissal of charges. Online reaction was overwhelmingly negative, with many arguing that Jones's money and legal team once again allowed him to escape accountability. Comments accused him of buying his way out of trouble, pointing to his long history of arrests, suspensions, and controversies. That's all for today's video, fight fans. If you want to stay up to date with news like this, subscribe to the channel and like the video. See you in the next video.